Well, good evening. This is episode number 14, the Craig MacTavish edition of 97 Octane Hockey, joined tonight by my good friend Neil Garritty. What do you remember about John Ziegler?
Nothing.
Huh. Yeah? Well, he's the guy that brought in the helmet rule to hockey.
Yeah.
But there was a grandfather clause, and I didn't know this until today. MacT played 5 seasons with the Boston Bruins, and he wore a bucket.
I heard that.
Then,
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I probably saw an interview from MacT.
do you know how many games after he left the Bruins he wore a bucket in?
I'm going to say none.
1 game.
One?
1 game as an Oiler. He donned the bucket, and he decided, I'm overheating. I can't do this anymore. And that was the end of that.
He should have cut his hair.
That might have helped, yeah. He's still got good hair, you know? Like
He
he's
put on
kept it.
put on one of those Jofas, the Gretzky Jofas. They didn't help hold in a lot of heat.
I think he played 17 seasons in the league and had to miss 1 year because he was serving time.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that totally changed his life around after making a mistake, and I hold him in high regard. I think it takes a lot for somebody to spend every Christmas with the family of the girl that he unfortunately killed.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the funniest human beings, definitely in the hockey world that there is. I really get a kick out of his dry sense of humor. And do you have any memorable MacT quotes?
I have not really a MacT quote, but I have memorabilia.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you this one, but
Nope.
right here is Harvey the Hound. And it's hard to see, but on his tongue, it's signed by MacT.
That is awesome.
So actually, I've got some family ties to MacT. It started from Billy Moore's ex assistant coach and assistant coach for MacT. He played hockey with my uncle. So my aunt at some point became MacTavish's his kid's tutor. So she tutored his kids for quite a few years, including the cup run there. And she also tutored Daryl Cates' kids and a couple Oilers at the time. So quite a few ties to him. And it's funny because my grandma, for her 90th birthday, she's not with us anymore, but for her 90th birthday, MacT organized for our family to come watch their practice. So I brought this down too. So this is grandma 90. It's got all the Oilers that were there. And her favorite, it's hard to see on here, her favorite was also number 14, Rafi Torres.
Good segue. Angel says, I love MacTavish. He was the last of the Mohicans with the locks out.
he was I think he's the best coach that the Oilers have had. Like, well, he's definitely the best since Sather Muckler. You know, that run that they did, it's the first time I saw um, a team change styles from series to series and win. And the whole team bought in. Like, the way that they played Detroit was different than the way they played San
So
Jose.
I got to ask you then. You know, it's 2006 was the Cup run, so
Yep.
we're 17 years removed from that. It seems like not that long ago, but have you forgiven him for turning the Edmonton Oilers run and gun, high octane '97 hockey into a team that played the trap against Detroit Red Wings?
I forgave him the second we won the series.
Oh man.
I was never mad, to tell you the
I
truth.
remember people wanted to make a controversy out of that, and as soon as
Well,
it
you know what?
started
I
winning
do
games, that
wonder.
kind of went away.
I do wonder when you compare it to today's Oilers. When we talk about, I don't think we need more offense. Offense, we had the most goals, we had the best power play, and I sometimes wonder if that's just Oilers hockey. We're never gonna have a Dominic Hasek in net. Our D are never gonna be like, we're gonna have to just outscore people because that's Oilers hockey.
You're
I don't
alluding
know.
to something that I've thought for a while. Is I think if you're gonna really focus on being a defensive juggernaut kind of team and win games, in low scoring of low event hockey, then you need to draft uh, goalies. That needs to be a priority. When was the last time the Oilers really, dialed in and made that their number one priority? I gotta, you gotta go back a long ways. I think you go back almost to Grant.
Start. Yeah, you got to go to the start.
Yeah,
Like, it's never. I do wonder this too, though. Like, there are teams that are good at drafting
because
goalies.
we didn't draft.
But
Am I right? We didn't draft Bill Ranford.
no,
No. So
no.
yeah, you got to go back to
Um,
Fura. I'm thinking.
but there are teams that draft defensemen really well, and there's teams that draft goalies really well, and that's a long term play, right? Like, you're drafting goalies high up, unless it's Carey Price. That guy's not going to see the league for a long time. Well, look at Stuart Skinner. Look how long it's taken.
Yeah,
So, it depends on where your team's at. But I do think that some teams are okay with letting other teams draft those, and they'll trade for them later.
right.
I think of course, if something falls into their lap at the draft, they're going to take it. But I do think that the Oilers, it probably hasn't been, one of their priorities. Maybe it's their scouting isn't, there, but we draft other people really well, you know. So I don't know.
And on the MacT subject, ninth round pick.
Yeah, yeah,
with a long
and
career. I mean, that's unheard of now.
it's cool. Like, I don't know if you saw the videos on the Oilers website, but he's still at the community hockey school, and he's still putting in time in Edmonton, and the guy's amazing.
I
He's incredibly
I was
smart. He's incredibly funny.
Yeah, I wasn't quite on the ball with this episode because I started thinking maybe I should try to get him on with us. But
Me then.
yeah, I was a little too late in the game to kind of figure out how to do that. But
You went with your 14th favorite choice.
there's a 14 to it. It works. Yep. So he played 9 seasons with the Oilers. His career high was 23 goals. Won 3 cups. Was captain for a few seasons. Yeah, and then my other note there, he wore a bucket with us for one game. Was traded in 93, 94 to the New York Rangers. Do you know who the return was?
I have no idea. I was sad though to see those guys go.
Well, the guy, he was responsible for a big goal against the Dallas Stars and a
Hmm.
lot of breakaways that went awry.
Left, right, left, right, left, right boards. Yeah,
Todd
Todd
Marchand. Yeah,
Marchand,
that's,
the guy that we hope that McLeod will turn into.
oh man. I hope the hands are just a little bit better with Ryan. Um, as well, so he started his career in Boston,
Yeah,
came to us, played here, traded to the Rangers, and then played for the Flyers and finished his career with the St. Louis Blues. So
yeah. I was going to say it was in St. Louis.
five different teams. Spent 2 years as an assistant in New York and one with the Oilers before becoming a head coach here in 2000, and spent 8 years at the helm. We all remember the '06 run. He had two other playoff appearances, both first round losses against the Dallas Stars, when it seemed like we were playing Dallas every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he took Cinderella all the way to 11:59 at the ball, and then midnight struck, and we lost in
yeah.
Game 7. Pretty remarkable team that season. I played a lot of rec hockey that year, and every time I was going on the ice, the Oilers were going into the third period, usually trailing, and I'd come into the room at intermission and check my phone and find that they took it into overtime. Didn't always win, but they were just collecting a point, a point, a point. Um, so much so that they kind of got into the playoffs as an eighth seed, and
They snuck
yeah, they
in.
snuck in, and McTavish shocked all of oil country by implementing a trap against the high flying Detroit Red Wings, and it worked. His record behind the bench, I think, is 301 wins, 252 losses. A stat that you don't hear about anymore. 47 ties
Yeah,
and
that's right.
56 overtime losses with a 5.28 winning percentage, and really was not blessed with a lot of talent on many occasion. So I find him to be a pretty impressive coach.
You want to talk about bad goaltending?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, he
after
had
Rolly, it got pretty bleak for a while. Yeah, Chad's here. We'll bring him in.
cool.
Fuck, it actually worked finally. That was 20 minutes of fucking around, let me tell you.
He's coming in hot.
Holy fuck, South Edmonton's internet's a garbage right now.
Well, somebody was going around Grand Prairie cutting fiber optic cable, so we're lucky we're on it all. But
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm telling you right now, I couldn't even. 20 minutes I've been trying to get on here.
um, so we kind of are going through McTavish's record as a coach, I guess now.
My
Um,
coach, he was fucking 701 games he played with the Oilers. 701 games that boy played.
what? Yeah, what was it? Nine seasons, career high 23 goals. Was a 20 goal scorer a few times.
Won 3 cups.
Um, and what was he like? I think he was pretty much a perennial third line guy. So if you're getting 23 goals out of your third line center, you'll take that. I mean, even in
Well,
today's
it was
game,
a perennial third line guy that penalty killed, right?
yeah, he was an
Yeah,
ace penalty killer.
Well,
yeah,
he was a monster at the
yeah,
faceoff
Yeah,
yeah.
dog
yeah,
too.
yeah.
He was the Sean Horkoff, only a million times better.
Yeah, I would say Horkoff probably has a little bit more of an offensive flair, but McTavish is a better defender.
Yeah,
McTavish's offensive flair was just fine, 'cause especially with that hair flowing without that helmet. I mean, his flair was amazing. Let's
All
not.
right, all right. I already went over this once, but I gotta get Chad on this one because I know he won't know. How many games did he wear a bucket for the Edmonton Oilers?
Oh fuck! It was a season. It was a full season almost. Really? Oh no, it was after he went to St. Louis. When
No,
he went to St. Louis, he had to wear.
no,
When?
he didn't. He didn't. He
You know,
wore
they
a
were,
bucket his first 5 years in the league in Boston, and then when they released him and Sather picked him up, he took the bucket off. It was part of his contract. John Ziegler, former commissioner of the NHL, had a grandfather clause that if you signed a waiver, you didn't have to wear a bucket. MacTavish signed that, but he wore a bucket anyways in Boston when that first came in. But when he went to Edmonton, it was still part of his deal, and he took it off. And he only ever wore a bucket one other game after he left Boston, and that was with the Oilers. I saw a picture of it today, and it's an anomaly. I should have had it for the show, but I was a little lazy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
the bucket thing's a fun thing for me, but I actually remember I think Craig was a pivotal part of the 3 cups that they won. He was huge, massive. And he was also massive in the '06 run. Let's not face facts here. Let's face some serious facts.
yeah. Are you over the fact that he implemented a trap against the Red Wings?
I didn't even care.
Did we win? Did we win?
Exactly.
There we go. There we
Exactly.
go.
Whatever
Remember,
it
people were
takes.
pissy about it, though. You can't do that. This is Oiler hockey. It's running good.
No, what I'm pissed off about is that he still ran the same fucking bullshit system of goaltenders that didn't need to happen. Markkinen was the stronger goalie. Conklin was not, and throughout the whole year. So
I think they were both horrible,
what?
and he was at a loss.
You thought Markkinen was horrible. I actually thought Markkinen was the
Yes.
future.
I actually have a Markkinen goal stick signed too.
No,
Can I have your autograph? I fucking hate you, but sign this.
No, I thought Markkinen was the
not my
future.
favorite goalie.
I thought Conklin was a sled, and I was hoping that Markkinen would get the backup spot in the playoffs. And the fact that he kept rotating backup scared the shit out of me. And when Roley finally got hurt, it bit him in the ass. Bit him hard. Because you know what Markkinen wouldn't have done?
He wouldn't have played that puck.
He wouldn't have played that fucking puck.
Or he wouldn't have tried to make a play out of it anyways.
He wouldn't have played that puck.
He might have went behind the net, stopped the puck, and got right back in the net.
I don't even think he would have done that. He was too cold. He wouldn't have done it. He'd been like, fuck it. You guys figure it out. Pronger, get it. You got it, buddy.
Yeah. And yet Conklin goes to stop it and fucks up
Make
Jason
it play.
Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to do that part.
Do you, Chad, I asked Neil this, he can't think of one, but do you have a favorite quote of MacT?
holy shit balls. Favorite quote?
I do have a good one, actually.
I got one I'll put up on the screen, but I'll let you guys give an answer first.
Favorite quote?
I have the one where he was talking about Dustin Penner, and he said we were looking at his contract like a starting point, and he looked at it like the finish line.
That's a pretty good one. You got anything, Chad? I got a bunch here that are fucking hilarious too, and he had a way of carving officials so sarcastically, but so delicately that he never got fined for it either.
I know, and I want to try to do this off the top without looking it up. I literally want to find him the favorite MacT. You go ahead. I'm gonna really give it some thought.
Okay, I'll read you a few. I've got some good ones here. Okay, I gotta go to the next page. That one's kind of boring. That just confirms my philosophy that the less you want something, the more likelihood of it occurring. This was a game that we really didn't care all that much about, so we automatically won.
I was gonna say, I think isn't Craig MacTavish the one Oiler coach that said, "Did we win? Did we win?"
Oh.
I swear he was that guy.
That's funny. I miss him for those like.
He's such a witty guy.
Like that.
He was like,
well, that stuff that was going on with Draisaitl, like the pissy stuff. Like, MacT would have shut that down.
oh yeah.
Here's him politely carving a ref. It's a different standard with those two. It seems like you get credited for having the courage to call everything.
That's a gooder. That's a gooder.
When we were talking about the changing of styles, so like they played the trap against Detroit, but against San Jose they didn't. They changed their style and beat them in a different way, and that was pretty cool to see. And I've had it confirmed by a couple of Oilers that were on that team that were like they hold MacT in pretty high regard. And apparently he still can't walk down the streets of New York without someone bugging him.
They like him there.
He's a god there.
Oh, yeah, but let's face back. I mean, MacT took a team in 06 that should never went to the Cup final, and they went to the Cup final. Let's face it.
I think this is like when they played Detroit because Chelios was playing for the Red Wings. Chris Chelios got a couple penalties in the second period, but there's no question that they willed the influence over the officials. Part of that is the inexperience. I'm not saying we didn't deserve a number of those penalties, but there were a number that I thought were poor calls. He just walks the line of getting fined so well.
Yeah.
But my all-time favorite, I got to put this one up on the screen. This one is fucking beautiful. Oh, come on. Can you read it there?
Yeah.
Some reporter was on his ass and he's like, you keep emphasizing the importance of the games. He's like fucking Stephen Wright, like just a total dry sense of humor, and I love it. Like it's totally my cup of tea.
Well, why don't you ask 99 what he thought of MacT? Because I tell you, 99 sure has a lot of respect for MacT.
Yeah.
And if 99 has respect for somebody, I got respect for him too. Because I mean, the guy's a god.
Yeah. Craig, after kind of the coaching with the Oilers, spent some time as an analyst with TSN, and then went on to coach AHL Chicago Wolves. In 2013, became GM for 2 years and is responsible for drafting Draisaitl and Darnell Nurse. Promised bold moves, but never really made any other than those, stellar draft picks.
Pretty stellar.
2015 to 2019, he made 2 stints as senior vice president of hockey operations, and in 2019, I guess that was sort of the last we seen of him. Bleeding Oilers blue and orange.
Wait.
But
Whoa. Was MacT responsible for fucking hiring Dustin Schwartz?
I don't think so. I don't know. That is not part of my research. Sorry, Chad. I'm not sure.
That fucking sled's got to go. Bye, Dustin. Hashtag see you the fuck later. Peace.
Wait, I thought you just said the goalie choices were up to the coach.
Yeah, head coach.
You blame Mark.
Head coach.
The Markman, yeah.
Yeah, not Dustin Schwartz. That fucker that loser who has no clue.
I'll be right back. I got to feed the dog.
Feed the fucking dog because we're going to talk about this loser.
Oh, man. Do you have a favorite like MacT moment? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always remember MacT as a stellar penalty killer in the 80s. Like, I watched him, and I knew that the guy with no helmet on, I mean, he was just the guy they sent out every time they had to kill penalties.
You know what's funny is today I watched a little bit of a thing on Pronger talking about, probably having 100 concussions in his career and all that and everything that he went through. And I mean, I don't remember MacT really ever missing a game. Like the guy was a machine. I don't think he ever really got hurt.
Yeah, but it was a different game back then. The guys were stronger. Let's face it. Even Chris. Chris is a strong dude, but actually Chris is a pretty strong dude. But like today's NHL, MacT would have been like, go fuck yourself.
Do you really remember him though ever getting really fucking bell rung? Like I don't.
No, because in those days you had your head up. You watched where you were going. You didn't take those nasty hits with your head down trying to stay kind of like a fucking freak.
Yeah.
because getting rocked by Doug Waite wasn't a penalty. That's why.
MacT fought a lot too, like a fair amount. Like he was not afraid to get into it, and
he kind of did it all, and he could
with guys that like out of his weight class, like
for sure. Well, you said like he's a third liner, but he fit in on the second line sometimes if they needed a key face-off draw on the power play,
right?
You know,
I mean, he wasn't a crazy fighter. He never fought my uncle or Probert, but he fought.
Yeah, no, he wasn't afraid to get into it. Bobby's just kind of getting himself organized there. We'll bring him in a minute.
Sure. But all I'm saying is that Dustin Schwartz is a fucking retard and he needs to go. And I swear to God, one day he's going to listen to this podcast and I'm going to literally look him in the eyes square and say, fuck off. You can leave.
I bet he won't.
Oh, no, I will. I guarantee you I will.
No, I bet he won't listen to this podcast.
No, he won't because he's terrified. He's a new age hockey player, that one. Because MacT wouldn't Bob, Jesus Christ.
Hey. Bobby.
There he is.
You know what? My apologies. We just won our men's league championship tonight in ball tonight, Thursday night. So I lost track of time after some post-game beers. Like, oh shit, I gotta go back there.
That happens.
I didn't want to miss Neil. Glad you're on, Garritty.
Yeah,
glad you're on, Garritty.
It's awesome. About time.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite MacT quote, Bobby?
Not a quote. I didn't know MacT was up for quotes.
Oh man, he's legendary.
Angel, just a heads up, Ranford and Emu are working with Jack Campbell, so don't get your head up your ass with the LA Kings and Ranford's fucking solidarity. By the way, bud.
There's my favorite MacT quote of all time.
What's that?
You keep emphasizing the importance of the games. You didn't know he was like legendary. Oh man. And Angel's
well, I'll be honest.
Angel's happy you're here.
Angel, I'm always happy that you're listening, dude. You're a very loyal fan. And we're going to get him back on the show again here soon. I was never a fan of MacT, the coach, as much. I really liked him as a player, Mr. Blue Collar, if there ever was one.
So you're the guy that's still pissed that he ran a trap against the Red Wings to get us by them?
No, that's the thing. That 06 series saved his job, I think. Because I think he was on the way out because we weren't getting the playoff success we wanted. Or achieving what we needed to, and that miracle run, and let's face it, that was a miracle run in 06 to get to where we got to. Every round was an upset win.
Let's face it too. I mean, Kevin Lowe did some stellar GM work to actually give the guy a team.
100%.
He didn't have a roster really to work with for much of his tenure as an Oilers head coach. Let's face it, and he still had a winning record. To me, that's impressive. Like he had a 528 winning percentage, and for a lot of those years he had nothing.
Okay, but we gave him a long rope though, and then we put Pat Quinn in a situation where he's doomed to failure. We give him 1 year to do it. Yeah. With Dustin Penner as our leading scorer. You got to give him more.
Ranford feels obligated to help his boy and then Jack.
Nothing.
I think part of it though is like times have changed. Like I don't think you get very many. Like what's the longest tenured coach now? Like it's just not the same as what it used to be. Like, no. Like the Lindy Ruff and the and MacT was in there a long time, and Barry Trotz was in Nashville for a long, long time. And then eventually even they.
Yeah, Glenn. But that's going back to the start.
But like, it just doesn't. I think people like you're not gonna get that longevity out of a coach anymore.
I think you're right, Neil. I think that kind of it reflects the environment that we live in. Like we definitely live in a results-based environment. Like not just in hockey, but in life. It's all about what have you done for me now. It's all about immediate results sort of thing. So if you're not getting that, you have a very short leash. Yeah, I think you're bang on. There used to be coaches that made longer runs that had more tenure to try it and work with their team and grow with the team. Yeah. And then achieve success.
It could be changing a little bit too, just because we're going through that transition of the style of coaching. Like the Sutters and the Tortorellas and they have such short shelf lives, and now like a guy like Woodcroft, maybe he could come in and be there a long time. If Connor, let's say we win a cup this year, and Connor and Leon both sign 8-year contracts, and we're perennial playoff. We're in the mix all the time. Like maybe there's no need to get rid of your coach. I don't know. It could happen, but it seems to be a thing of the past.
This would be John Cooper's 10th season behind the bench in
Tampa. Say Cooper.
Yeah.
Dang it, Darius! Don't take away the limelight. That was my answer.
I had to Google like when he took the job there, but
you know what? That goes to Garrity's point though, because they've achieved success, right? And they're perennial contenders every year. Yeah. And when you get that, and you get those results from the coach, you're going to have some more job security. Absolutely.
And what happens when all their veterans are gone and they're going to bring in all these new guys and young guys? And I could see them changing out their coach.
Well, there comes a time, especially when the new guys leave, that you're turning the page, and you do need the new voice. Like, so yeah. That's just the nature of the beast. 10 years is a good run though. A decade with a team, that's damn good. But that is a rarity.
Yeah.
Do you have a moment with MacT that you remember?
Angel, I can't figure out how the fuck to send a message, but I was lucky enough when I went to AAA Bantam to actually go to Ranford's camp at Sylvan Lake. Yeah. I
do have a MacT story. And so it's a good story. When they came to Grand Prairie in 06 there for their training camp, right after in 07, I guess, for their first week of training camp, I was the head of security there for the venue they were using. So I got to, mingle with quite a few of these guys. Actually, one day I had breakfast with Craig MacTavish and Billy Moore. We were at Denny's across the street from the Canada Games Arena. And we were having breakfast, and we were just talking hockey. And I told, back then I was still playing just in the industrial. Or I think I was playing senior league then already. And we're just exchanging stories. And then I just kind of flippantly mentioned that if one of their goalies goes down here in camp, I'll go in and take shots for the guys, right? So they don't have to shoot an empty net kind of thing. And he thought that was funny, but he said, you know what? It probably wouldn't hurt to have some insurance just in case. And he actually took my phone number down and put it in his phone. So MacT actually had my phone number for a bit.
Is there any way you can kick Angel?
Yeah, if I could figure out how to send a message, I definitely he would leave because I hashtagged him.
I got you, Chad.
What you saying?
I got you, Chad.
All right, thank you, brother.
The other guys weren't on here at the start, so I'll show again.
Do it, yank it, Garrity, yank it.
Look it. Can you read the tongue?
No, the Elks will never get away.
The tongue is autographed by Craig MacTavish.
Oh, we got to stop the show. The Elks are getting their first win.
Yeah.
I'm PVR in the game. Don't ruin it. No spoilers.
Who are they playing? No. Who are they playing first and foremost?
Hamilton.
Oh, I mean, come on.
They're better than Edmonton.
If I was Hamilton right now, I'd be super pissed.
I don't know. Edmonton looked pretty good their last game too.
No.
Is Trey Brown quarterback?
Yeah. Edmonton hasn't looked good since they fucking changed their name from the Eskimos to the
Elks. Oh my goodness! Just cry with the name change. Holy shit! Yeah. Has nothing to do with the fact they're a shitty football team.
It's Jones. The guy's got to go.
Yeah.
Well, we won a Grey Cup with Jones before.
Yeah, that was before.
And
Hervey should still be running that team.
In no fucking language are elk plural by putting an S at the end.
Look it up. It is.
Never. What about
Elks?
Leafs?
Yeah, at least.
I thought they were Leafs.
No,
Same
but
fucking thing.
I hate them just as much
Because of the
because it
name.
should be the Toronto
I
Maple
think an elk is a
Leafs.
majestic animal.
Leafs. The fuck's a Leafs? No. Why the Edmonton Elks? Why? Why couldn't they just be called the
Somebody might
Edmonton
need to leave here soon.
I don't know.
That's a whole different show.
Why
I'm not going to go
couldn't
into the whole woke attitude
Yeah.
bullshit. So
Yeah, no,
No,
no.
it's not about the woke shit because the Eskimos didn't even care. I'm talking about why didn't they just call them the Edmonton Eskies? Eskies. There's no bullshit there. Eskies. That's what we all call them anyway.
I don't know.
So did we? Did
Maybe
you guys
they-
mention how McTavish got recruited by Edmonton at all? Did you guys touch on that at all?
How he got
Well,
recruited?
yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
like from coming out of prison.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there was a phone call between Sather and Harry Sinden because I think they were actually friends,
Yes.
and that's how Sather picked him up. Like Sinden basically did McTavish a favor by not having him report to training camp in Boston after he served his time because I can only imagine what that would be like today. But even back then, they were afraid that it was just going to be such a distraction that it'd be really hard for him. So they, I think Harry Sinden phoned Sather, and Sather said, like on Boys on the Bus, that he was looking through the protection list and saw his name and then went after it. But I think it was the other way around. I think Harry Sinden
Well,
reached
no,
out to him.
Harry Sinden did. Sinden and Sather were buddies, and Sinden did think that McTavish was too good of a player not to have a second chance. Too good of an individual. He made an absolutely crucial mistake, obviously. And so Sather. I've heard two different stories where Sather waited till McTavish was done, or sent him a message saying, "Look me up when you're done," kind of thing. And then I heard another story where he actually went to visit him in prison and talked to him face to face about another opportunity. I'm not sure, but when we look at the story came to mind when we picked up Evander Kane, because it was kind of the same thing where, well, not the same thing. Obviously, Evander Kane didn't kill anybody that we know of.
Yeah,
But
another reclamation project.
Reclamation
I
project.
love that we know of. I like that.
But yeah,
That we know
reclamation
of.
project. I think McTavish was the first big reclamation project the Oilers had. Cassian was another one who was basically considered a cancer in other rooms at one point, and here he was like the ultimate community and team player here with the Oilers.
Yeah,
And Evander Kane seems to be finding his maturity here with the Oilers. So we do have a history of that. Which I'll be honest, when I kind of heard the kind of trend we had, there was a part of me that kind of half-ass expected Galchenyuk to show up here as an Oiler.
Kovalchuk.
Kane was just up in Sturgeon Lake there visiting the people that have went through the fires and all that. So, he's doing good things.
He took that girl out to Disneyland here this summer too. Like, geez,
Yeah.
he's out there. He's giving it his all.
Evander Kane is a fucking stand-up dude, and whoever hated him in their dressing room, I hate their dressing room because it must suck.
No, you know what?
So
the guy can change.
Where did he come from?
Yeah, that too.
No,
that too.
Where did he come from?
Winnipeg.
Yeah, fuck you, Winnipeg.
Yeah, but before that too, though, Chad. Like when he was in San Jose and when he was in Buffalo, he was that guy that he was posting Instagram pictures of him with piles of money and showing off and doing push-ups with money on there. Like, he's a complete dick and showboater. Like, I didn't like the guy either. Like, I like him as a player, as an individual.
Okay, so here's the difference. Here's the difference between today's day and age and back in Mac T's day. So when Mac T came here, he felt like the Oilers gave him a humongous second chance.
Yeah.
And he took that and he ran. Mac T's been a fucking force for the Oilers for many, many decades.
He's a great human being.
Oh, yeah.
But
amazing.
The same thing that happened to Mac T, I think might have happened to Evander Kane, is you get into some serious shit and you get humbled and it changes you.
You get into some serious shit and you walk into a room that's full of like serious leaders.
That
you turn
too.
into somebody who's like, you know what? Maybe I'll tone my shit down. So everywhere else that Evander Kane's been, just haven't had the leaders that we do.
Well, you know when things went south for him in San Jose? It's a question.
No.
When Marlowe and Thornton got dealt.
Yeah.
That's when it went south for him in San Jose. So you might be onto something. They might have been guys that could keep him in check. And as soon as they left, you've got like Hurdle the Turtle and Logan Couture as your leadership core. And I don't think Evander respected them at the same level that he did Thornton and Marlowe. And, so he comes into Edmonton, you've got Nurse, you've got McDavid, you've got Draisaitl, you've got Nuge, you got pretty stand-up, stellar human beings. And you can't help but want to fit in. I don't think you want to be the odd man out. And when Evander came here too, they had Keith, and I think there was a respect factor, and I think it's still there. But I also think
Evander Kane came to the Oilers playing with the best hockey player that's ever put skates on his feet.
Yeah,
and he realized
I have a chance to win. I have a chance to win. Yeah. But I also think that he's been through some things, and he realized that I think he realized that he wasn't on a good trajectory and decided to make some changes. I do.
I mean, that's everybody though. Like everybody in the world,
right.
Like especially every male. Like we're dumb when we're young.
You got to go through some shit to figure it out.
And eventually, you figure some things out, and it gets tiring to be stupid all the time.
Yeah.
It's easier to be smart. Yeah. It's easier to do the right thing. It's easier.
And what else has happened to him since he's gotten here?
Well, and the only market that concerned me was Winnipeg. But I mean, coming to Edmonton, I think coming to Edmonton was a big factor for him because he realized here he actually has to play a fucking role, and he better play that role.
There's that.
Because in Edmonton, we respect our hockey players, and you better respect us.
Look at where Winnipeg is at, though.
I know.
Like they talk about all their leaders and stuff. Look where they're
Paul
at.
Maurice knew. Paul Maurice knew.
Yeah. Like Paul Maurice, is he the first coach in history to leave a team?
But
gotta be close. Like walk out on a contract?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But he recognized that these guys aren't going anywhere. And they
stranger. Edmonton didn't give him a chance. Edmonton gave him a home that he literally wants to stay in, and that makes me super happy.
Well, the other thing that's happened to Kane too is he's become a dad, and that changes a person too.
Sure, for sure, 100%.
I think Cassian falls into the same conversation here, right? Like a reclamation project that did good, and is a better person now, and has cleaned himself up and. And kind of thrived here until he signed a contract, unfortunately.
I mean, Costin from a different perspective was a bit of a reclamation project too. And that worked out. They don't always work out, but sometimes those gambles pay off big time.
But it comes back to the premise of the night. Like some stranger said it perfect. No one else would give him a sniff, and that was MacTavish. And look at what MacTavish did for the Edmonton Oilers in his time afterwards. During all of the time he was with us, everything he did afterwards, I fucking love and cherish Craig MacTavish.
And not everybody shares that, but I certainly do. I find the guy to be, like I said, right off the hop with Neil, I think he's one of the funniest, personalities in hockey, maybe next to Eddie Shack. It's incredible, how funny the guy is. There's just that dry, witty, and he's so quick with it and can be sharp, and he can be cutting, but he can do it in a way where he doesn't get himself in trouble with, refs in the league and all that. Oh man, I get a kick out of him. I really do.
Durst. Durst. Okay, so Durst, let's face it. Okay, so he's great with the fucking the PR and all the publicity bullshit. But let's face it, if you want to be a good coach, who do you have to have the full respect from?
Well, your players.
Your players, yeah.
And he did 100%. He had all the respect of his players. That tells me that he was a great fucking coach.
I think he was one of those guys that was. There's some coaches that just bark orders, but they're not really in the trenches with you, and I think he was one of those guys. I actually, I got a lot out of Tippett for that too. He was doing drills with guys and that I didn't like him, but he was in the paint, he wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty, and those kind of coaches I like, but. I just didn't like his style. I thought when Dave Tippett came in here, we'd learn how to play defense, and that never happened. And that's the funniest part about the whole thing is we all thought he was going to be this great defensive coach, but that never happened.
I've said this to people before, and they think I'm nuts, but I've said, like, coaching MacTavish and Draisaitl isn't necessarily easy. Like, it's not like they're not coachable or they won't do what they're told. It's that they're so good. Like, a lot of people don't have this, the experience of dealing with these guys because no one does.
I don't think for 1 second that Connor McDavid is not coachable. He will definitely do whatever's best for the team.
That's not what I said. I'm saying it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, look at the coaches that they've been through. Good coaches. They're not bad coaches.
Yeah.
Anyways, the one thing I was thinking too is, like, I like what Woodcroft has done since he's been here. He's got a great record, but I think this year is a pivotal year for him. Like, this year last season in the playoffs I think he got out-coached a little bit.
In what way? No. In what way?
In what way?
Yeah.
Like, matchups, in going to Connor and Leon together too much, in not just, like, believing in the Oilers and like playing into he was trying to, like, match up against what the other team was doing. And, like, we needed to take it to some teams.
Huh.
Like, just be better. Go out and be better.
I think
so.
Game
two when Jack Campbell fucking won us that goddamn game, you wouldn't have gone to him the next game?
No.
Really?
No. The only one I would have is the last game. The only one I would have is the
and I wouldn't have, because to me, I think that's too late.
Yeah. No, and I'll explain myself. And I think actually Kami brought this up.
No, he brought it up as an asshole, by the way.
He had a good point.
No, he didn't.
In that, if you go to Campbell in, like, after that game 2 or whatever, when he came in,
the guy you're paying $5 million. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think the contract really has anything to do with it.
Oh, okay, carry on.
I didn't put his contract in that.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is that, like, you think that Skinner's your guy, right? And typically, there hasn't been a lot of teams yet that have rolled 2 goalies in the playoffs. Not even, I thought Boston might do it this year because Swayman was so good, but even they didn't do it. And I was thinking, like, you don't want to mess with Skinner's mind, right? He was your guy all along. Does he deserve to go back to him? Yeah, he earned it. He earned it because
nope.
And you also don't have any clue what Campbell was going to do going in as a starter. You really don't.
We literally saw what Campbell was going to do.
What I was
literally saw in game 2 what Campbell was going to do. Literally, all of us saw what Campbell was going to do in game number 2.
Everyone discounts that as a relief effort.
Nope.
And I don't know, like, if you're gonna. He did the job. He extended the season.
Here's what I'm thinking that they were thinking: is you've got Campbell, who's a little fragile already because of the way he played all season, and then you've got Skinner that's not playing well. Let me finish. Then you got Skinner that didn't play well. So if you replace him, you could hurt his mind a little bit. And if Campbell comes in and is horrible, now you got 2 goalies that are fucked. Whereas in game 6 in the Vegas series, it was, to me, it was like, okay, you've given Skinner all the rope in the world. This is like do or die. Now you go to Campbell.
To me, that was too late. You'd already pulled Skinner in you'd already pulled Skinner in a third of his starts.
Yeah,
he didn't have it. He didn't have it.
Here's the thing: people don't fucking focus on the fact that the last quarter of Campbell's season, he played on his head. He went back to Ranford. He went back to Emu. He got his coaching staff back. He played amazing, and he fucking was on his head. Both of them were. Both Skinner and Campbell were on their head. So Skinner has they started Skinner. I totally agreed with that. Start him 100%. Game 2, Campbell come in, looked like fucking Rollison, saved our asses. Let's face it. Watch the game over and over again. He fucking saved our asses. Literally carried on our season, and they don't go back to him. You want to fuck with the guy who's making your $5 million, who's actually put the work in, and you want to fuck with someone's head? You're worried about your goaltender that's named Skinner? What about Campbell? Why would you fuck with his head?
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
He was 21-6 in the season. Like, we call him a shithead. We call him a loser. He fucking won triple the games he lost.
Yeah, but you can't guarantee that he was going to win.
Yeah, you're fucking right you could, because you watch him in game 2. If you actually watched him, he wanted to fucking win.
Holy shit.
You can't guarantee it, Chad. You know it. You know
he wanted to fucking win.
So did
just
Skinner.
like fucking Rory did. He wanted to win.
Every athlete,
he was going to give you your best chance.
Every athlete wants.
There's
every
not
athlete
a
wants to win.
Rule that can guarantee a goalie.
Skinner letting 2 under his goddamn skate tells me he was timid, scared, and stuck in his net. Thank you, Dustin Schwartz.
He still wants to win, but it wasn't going for him.
He was timid and scared and stuck in his net. Let 2 under his skate, under his pad, by the post. Yeah. 2, not 1, 2.
I think it just rattled. Your first real postseason, and you
100%.
You win that.
But why keep running with your fucking rookie when you got a fucking $5 million guy who's got playoff experience sitting there waiting to go? Why not give him the chance?
I don't know. I think Woodcroft is in the damned if you do, damned if you don't boat. Yeah. And it was the same thing. Like, you remember that series, we start Mike Smith and we start Koskinen, and then I don't think he can do that. Fucking just put your cards on the table and go for it. It didn't work. It didn't work out this next season. Adjust.
I wonder if
make it a competition again.
I fucking hope that Jack Campbell comes back this season and wins 80 goddamn games, so everyone can shut the fuck up.
I hope not, because that probably means we're not doing well in the playoffs because the guy's exhausted.
You know who will be his goalie coach if he does?
Radford Nemu. Radford Nemu. I'm going to say it 100 times. Radford Nemu will be his goalie coach. Dustin Schwartz, go fuck yourself.
So I would my other theory here was so I disagree with both of you in regards to when to put the Campbell in. Now, when Campbell came in and saved our season or saved a series for sure in the LA, I think he showed something there that warranted him to start. I didn't mind him going back to Skinner for the next game because he was your designated starter for the playoffs and he'd earned the right to be that. But the next time he faltered, I should have been like, that should have been the last pull. Now we go with Campbell. I agree with you as well, Dursa. I think the last game was a bit late, but I think the game after Campbell saved us, that was a bit too early. Skinner was still our guy, but the next shaky game that Skinner had and got pulled, I'm like, okay, well, let's ride Campbell for a while now and see what he's got, because he showed in that brief instant that he was on his game. So why not roll the dice there at that point?
It's a fucking shame that our captain has to fucking go on goddamn social or media on whatever after hours bullshit and say we have a capable goaltender and they wouldn't fucking play him. It's a goddamn shame.
I did think that was a telling interview by McDavid there, and that was just in the dressing room after the game where he did say that, and that I'm like, well, that he's basically saying let's try Campbell out here, and you think that. And that probably was considered by Woodcroft, but at that point he already made up his mind that he was going to ride Skinner to the end. But I'm not saying, as I applaud your confidence, Chad, for sure. And I'm on your side for the whole Dustin Schwartz thing. You know that. But
no. If you rewatch those games, and every time that Jack came in, he was stellar every time. Yeah. One fucking goal he let in.
None of us would disagree with you on that. None of us would disagree with you on that.
And he wouldn't give the guy a start.
I don't get a chance.
Woodcroft, you're a fucking loser, just like Schwartz. I'm sorry. One goal he let in.
Now Woodcroft.
I say we dismantle the team. I say we dismantle the team and build it around Jack Campbell.
No, I'm just saying that if they would have give Jack a chance, just give him the shot he wanted. And he worked hard for that shot. Fuck all y'all who doesn't agree.
No,
Or
I
didn't
agree
pay
with you.
attention.
I agree with you. I just disagree with the timing of when we put him in. I agree with you 100%. Campbell should have gotten a start for sure. He earned that right. For sure he did.
I think
Skinner. I love Skinner, by the way. I know you might not think this, Neil, but I do. I actually think Skinner is a great goaltender, and I love him. But running with your rookie is a stupid fucking thing to do in a playoffs when we have a team.
Whoa. Other teams have won rookies.
Who?
I wasn't sure that they should
Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh, Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I was nervous about starting Skinner in the playoffs at all, honestly. Yeah. I thought it was a bit much going to him, and riding him.
I agree with you because Campbell coming into the playoffs was in great shape. He was playing great hockey. So was Stewart. And when they went with Stewart in the first game, I was okay with that. I was like, okay, fucking rights. After game 2, when Campbell came in and literally whooped ass and won us a hockey game, I'm like, no, if you don't start Jack, you're fucking losing the playoffs. And I called it from game 2.
I'll say this one thing. Can I say one thing, though? Like, overarching all of this, it had nothing to do with our goaltenders.
Sure did.
Our whole team did not choose to play defense first.
I think there was an approach. I think there was an approach problem, and it's not the willingness to defend. We against Vegas, we tried to be the bully, and there was a bully attitude, and we took some stupid penalties, and we got it.
No, but it worked for that one game.
One game.
We win, and then the next game we come out and we don't play the same. We're like, and
I'm not talking about chasing hits and stuff like that. I'm all for that, but we got a little bit unglued, and trying to intimidate more from like a verbal standpoint and extra shenanigans, and we took ourselves out of the high flying Edmonton Oilers hockey, and to me that's a flaw. That's a mistake, and I hope they learn from it. I hope they don't approach playoffs again like that. Like, I'm gonna say something about the 90s Chicago Bulls. Those guys would put on their suits and they would come to work, and their approach was always the same. It was always all business. We're gonna fuck you up. We're gonna win the game, and we're gonna go on to the next one. We're gonna do the same thing. It was always the same thing.
And the 06 Oilers came in the same fucking way. My goaltender's going to bat the fucking puck down the ice because he's going to make every goddamn stop he could. That's what was missing. And Jack Campbell gave us the best chance at that.
I mean, Torres was a bit of a wild card back then, but nobody else on the team was taking stupid penalties, really. Like,
I wouldn't go that far.
We got away with. Pronger got away with.
Yeah, he did.
I wouldn't go that far.
It crossed.
Pronger would have spent the whole season in the penalty box this year if he was playing.
But you know what I mean? We weren't really paying outside the lines.
We had a goaltender that was going to take us to the final 100%. We had a goaltender.
He did. He took us to the final. We were in the final.
You're goddamn right he did. And it wasn't some stuck in your fucking crossbar, timid, pucks under my skate goaltender. It was a goddamn aggressive guy batting pucks down the ice. I saw a little bit of that in Campbell, and I was excited in game 2.
I think if the Oilers are going to rely on a goalie getting hot to win the Stanley Cup,
like Aiden Hill,
that is a bad.
Like Aiden Hill.
I don't think Aiden Hill was tremendous.
He got hot as fuck. That's exactly what happened.
No, I think Garrity's right here. You shouldn't have to rely on that. Now, has it happened? Of course it happens. A goalie can carry you.
Fucking happens. Matt Murray got a massive contract because he had a hot streak and he was garbage. Look at him now.
Jonathan Marchessault was on fire too. I mean, people talk about Eichel, but Marchessault was a fucking machine.
Well, he won the Conn Smythe, so yeah, obviously he was. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but their defense was solid. They were blocking shots. They're making guys shoot from the boards, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, their whole team is committed to playing a defensive style game.
You want to win a Stanley Cup, you better have a hot goalie. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you got to have a good goalie. So, but here's the thing: what Neil was saying. Once you come up for air chat, I'm gonna say something here. What Neil was saying is that shouldn't be your plan A. You shouldn't have to rely on your goalie to carry you to the cup. Now it has happened, obviously, because some players will put a team on their shoulders and carry it, but that should never be your plan A. It should. So you need solid goaltending for sure. Aiden Hill was not spectacular, but he was solid. He never stole them a game, but he made the saves when they were needed, right? And that's what you need.
Let's ask Florida.
Also look at the way that the team played.
Florida couldn't get through Vegas though. Like they were. Vegas is a better team than anybody they had faced out of the East, including the Boston Bruins. Like they locked them down. They couldn't get through. There wasn't a lot for Aiden Hill to really do in that series.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
And
there wasn't. I watched that shit. I was bored as hell.
But same as like when Brossoit was in too. Like he's nothing great, but he was solid enough. He got him a few wins before he got hurt too.
If Brossoit didn't get hurt, then we would have won that series.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yep.
Things were trending in the right direction until he went down.
After Matt Murray won a cup, he fucking turned into a garbage bag. Literally.
But he won a cup. Yep. And if Stuart Skinner wins us one cup and turns to garbage afterwards, I'll be happy.
100%.
There's lots of teams that have won cups without great goalies.
Yeah. Who?
Like
Where?
Chicago.
Tell me one.
Crawford wasn't an amazing goalie. Like
he made every save you have to. So the Oilers. Grant Fuhr had a shitty save percentage when the Oilers were winning cups, but guess what? He wouldn't let in the 9th goal because we had 10.
There's no comparing Grant Fuhr to Corey Crawford. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
So am I.
I was saying one was not a great goalie versus one that is a great goalie.
I know. I'm just like when you start talking Corey Crawford and then you go to Grant Fuhr, I can't stomach that.
If your goalie can make the fucking save, make that save.
Yes, you're right. But does that mean he has to be a great goalie? No, he could be a good, solid goalie. Was Tom Barrasso a great goalie?
Pretty good. Yeah, I like Tom.
Pretty good.
Great glove man.
Yeah.
Who did Detroit have? They had
Osgood, they had Vernon.
Hasek.
Like Osgood, Vernon, are they great goalies?
Chris Osgood is not a great goalie. He's a good goalie.
He was a great goalie. He won cup.
But look at the D they had in front of him. Holy.
And Dominik Hasek was there too.
For Angel. Is Jonathan Quick one of the most overrated goalies?
No, he's not. Actually, he's a great. Jonathan Quick is very well. He plays very good position. I love Quick's game.
I'm just joking.
He's just trying to fire up Angel more. Garritty knows the shtick.
Just poke the bear.
If you don't have a hot goalie, you're not going to. And the thing that pisses me off about last season was that Jack, we paid him to be our playoff guy, and he didn't get the chance. That's why I'm pissed off. We paid him to do that. So you go in with Skinner.
People want to complain about the nurse. People want to complain about the nurse contract. I complained about the Campbell one way before that.
No, why?
You complain about Bouchard's contract that he doesn't even have yet, Neil.
I know. I'm worried about it.
Why would you complain about Jack's contract? He's not a bad goalie.
So here's the thing. So did we pay Jack Campbell to be a playoff goalie? Yeah, we did. But you earned your playoff spot during the regular season, and Skinner did have the better regular season.
Yeah, we're not going to argue that Campbell had a pretty shitty regular season last year, right?
Until we got to the playoffs, and all of a sudden he looked like a real playoff goalie.
Yeah,
the season means fuck all, guys. How did Campbell play coming up to the playoffs?
Okay, I'll tell you.
But
they both played
to
great.
A coach, and if I were betting on it, I'd look at his regular season and say,
I wouldn't.
Man, I don't know if we should put that guy in there. He hasn't had a great season.
Neil, what was wrong with his regular season? What was wrong with it?
He was inconsistent.
No, he was 21-6. What was wrong with his regular season? What was wrong with his
below 900 goalie?
He won triple the games that he lost. Triple the games he lost, he won.
So here's the thing. So you're talking about how hockey was coming into the playoffs. I'm looking at it right now. And yes, he did win his last 4 games, that he played. But
who are they against?
San Jose, Arizona, and 2 against Anaheim.
And how many shutouts?
1 against Anaheim.
How many shots on goal?
36. It was a really good game. Yeah. So, but then he right before that, his 5 starts before that one. So in his last 9 games, he had, or in last 10 games, he had, 9 games, he had 4 wins and 5 losses. So he wasn't exactly red hot coming in. Like even in the 2 wins, he let in, of his last 4 games, he let in 4 goals and had save percentages, 875 and 879. But he finished strong against Anaheim with the shutout and then a 964 save percentage.
Sure, and they started with Skinner, and he did okay in game 1. Shit the fucking bed in game 2. And then what happened? What happened in game 2?
Okay, but we've gone through this already, and we've disagreed on when we would have started Campbell. Now, all 4 of us have agreed that Campbell deserved to start at some point in the playoffs, especially since Skinner was struggling. So that's not the argument. It's just a matter of when we would have put him in.
I guess the one thing too that I've gone with all year, and this doesn't matter what player it is really, like I'm gonna trust the guys that are there every single day that are actually pretty smart hockey minds, smarter than us here, even if you can imagine that.
Not possible.
And
Suspect.
And they literally spend like half of every single day of these guys' lives with them.
Okay.
They see them even when they're not playing, even when they're not like playing in a game, they're practicing. Like they know more about these guys than we do.
Okay.
They just do.
So how much of Skinner continuing to get played and pulled was literally nothing more than a visual bullshit because he was up for a Calder or up for winning the Vezina?
No. You're not going to bring politics in that shit. You're not going to go politics in that shit because that's
100%.
not.
Yep.
No.
He Schwartz his bitch. Woodcroft knew him from all his time spent in the AHL.
No.
Let's face it.
No,
we're going to disagree there.
I think they were just going
You're
with
wrong.
the guy they felt
You're wrong.
felt more comfortable with, and as simple as that.
I think what they were going for is the Stanley Cup, which
fucked up
trumps
because if I was coaching that team, and I'm watching it biased because I'm a fucking Skinner fan, by the way. I love Stuart Skinner, and I've watched everything.
Obviously.
I do. I love him. I think he's the future of the franchise. There's no question. I do. I will never ever disagree. I think Stuart Skinner has a large future with the Oilers, and I think he is the future of the franchise. We paid big money for Jack Campbell, and he came in game 2 and showed me an aggression that I needed to see for a playoff goaltender. I was impressed, and I don't get impressed that easy from goalies, let me tell you. I was impressed. And then when he never got the start, I was like, okay. And then by the 19th fucking time they pulled Skinner, I'm like, you fucked it. You fucked their playoffs. Congratulations, coaching staff. Hope your visibility is great.
So do you want to know something, though? Nobody wins this discussion unless we win the Stanley Cup. So it doesn't matter what would have happened. We would have argued about something or disagreed about something.
No one's going to win this discussion because it's all in the past. It's already
we can second guess and overanalyze it because we didn't win. If we win the Stanley Cup, we're like, fuck, well, it was perfect. It was a perfectly well coached playoff.
No. I'm not overanalyzing shit. This is shit I said then. So
it's like you. Yeah, but it's like Mr. Destiny, right? You think that if you do this, that's going to lead to this and then lead to that, but you really have no way of knowing because you can't go there.
Well, when your captain says it and it's too goddamn late.
But
I know, Connor, it doesn't. I've been there. I'm telling you, I've been saying it since game 2, Connor. I get you.
It doesn't matter because it didn't happen. So we got to write it off and carry on. I think there was like a bit of a learning curve for Skinner, and I think he'll be better for it. I think Campbell's going to be better for it, and I hope
the whole team will be better for it.
I hope there actually is an internal competition this year for the net, and they just push each other to go for it. And
so do I. I'm glad that Campbell's back working with Emu and with Ranford, and I guarantee you, coming this season, he's going to be a different goalie, and I'm excited for everyone in Edmonton to go, oh fuck, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there on the Twitters going, I fucking told you so.
Well, hurry up with that. I think in answer to your question, I think it's going to be just under $4 million.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I hope he would sign for like, I don't know, 3.5 for 1 year. I know 1 year kind of screws us a little bit, but 3.5 kind of screws him.
We need a 2-year deal.
or
At
sorry,
least.
1 year kind of screws him. Yeah, I know, but it'd be nice to sign another player.
Well, the thing is, that's the dilemma we're in, because we
That's
do have
all.
2 roster spots, right? So if we use up all our money, we're at 21. But in all honesty, it doesn't matter
Like,
what Bouchard signs. If it's 4, if it's 3, he deserves more. Like,
So then that leads to something else. Sam Gagne and Brandon Sutter. Thoughts there?
POs.
yeah, I mean, there's no risk there.
Yeah.
I think Sam's probably got a better chance than Sutter. Just although I mean Sutter's a huge question mark. Like he hasn't played in a long time at all. But by all reports, he's in good
He's
shape.
from Viking, Alberta. How do you forget to play hockey?
I was going to say, I know where that boy's from. He's in good shape.
Yeah, but he had long COVID, and who knows what that does.
Oh, no, he'll be fine.
I think Jonathan Taves is probably in good shape right now too, but can't play hockey yet either.
I don't know about Taves, but
well, Taves released a statement today that he's taking a break from hockey for a season at least. He hasn't officially retired, but he's stepping back for a season to get everything in order. I think a guy like Sutter,
I like it.
A guy like Sutter is that might be a guy that we're doing a favor here to see where he's at and come to camp. But this is another guy though that can probably do a lot of good work for us in Bakersfield, for that matter. Like he'd be an immense leader. Yeah. There's no question the Sutter work ethic, and he's a guy that a guy like the Bakersfield could definitely use.
Are they both right shot centermen?
Yeah.
Like I know Sam. Yeah. But like I'm not sure Sam is a great fourth line center for us, really. Like is he the guy that you would want? Like he's your first choice?
No, but I think he'll see if he makes it. He'll see spot duty. Kind of think he'll be in and out, kind of stuff. But this is a guy that I think the Oilers they want him to retire as an Oiler and then start working him into management kind of thing, right? Office.
Yeah, for sure. And like I love that part of it, and I love that he's pushing. He pushes the McLeods and the Lane Petersons, and and like they don't just get a spot. Yeah. You don't just get you're not gifted a spot on this team. This should be one of the hardest teams in the league to make right now.
Yeah. Mr. Hebert and Ash kind of let the world, I guess, in on that there's plans for Sam to get a job upstairs after playing days are done. I don't know if he's actually officially signed a PTO yet, but I think
they offered it. I'm not sure if they signed it yet, but they offered him.
I think it's just a finality. But that all that good stuff's coming up right around the corner. I think rookie camp and that is probably not that far away when they start playing games out in BC. And
well, the next big step here is the Bouchard thing. That's the next step we just need to have happen.
I thought that would have been done.
Yeah, Stauffer was talking that it was probably going to get done on the 15th, but it didn't happen.
I do think it'll be forward for 2 years. I do think it'll go that high. So I would be surprised if we end up going with 21 players.
Yeah. What do you think of the Jeff Jackson thing?
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
How do you not like that?
I finally listened to the interview today on the drive back from work to hear him, and like he's very well spoken. He's got a great hockey mind, and I'm really pumped. Like, geez.
Oh man, like I just keep going back to the idea. Like that guy is a smart guy that had a really, really good job already.
yeah.
That and like his number one goal when he comes to this team is gonna get Connor and Leon re-signed. Yeah. So would he come here if he didn't think there was a chance of that? Or like a really good chance of that? He doesn't seem like the guy that would risk a lot of where he was at.
He had a gravy train. He got a gravy train going on, and he steps away from that to take on this role. Like that says a lot about what he wants to do.
Like his job as Connor's agent, he gets paid no matter where Connor goes.
That leads me to another thought, I guess, is that Ken Holland, this is the last year of his contract. So does Holland step aside and we kind of thought maybe Steos would be GM, but I wonder if you're onto something there. Maybe Jeff Jackson takes that role too.
I don't think he
No?
wants to. I don't think he wants that.
Actually, you know what? So did you guys listen to the interview at all?
I haven't.
Yeah.
So they kind of alluded to the fact a bit, and Holland did play the whole card of, well, we'll see what happens after this year. He still was very energetic. He still had a lot of passion for the game. Jeff Jackson never ruled out that, like, wasn't he assistant to the GM or something in Toronto or something like that at one point? Yeah. So, like, I think he's already seen some of the back, what goes on, and he didn't give off the vibe that he didn't want it. He was very clear on what he felt his role was now, but
I don't know why he would want it though. Like he's higher up than that, you know. Like he can hire somebody in there that he can fire. You know, he can. And let's be honest. Like if the Oilers don't win this year, Ken Holland might sign a 1-year contract, and Jeff Jackson might want to.
I didn't hear what you just said, and you're not going to repeat it. Oilers are winning the cup this year.
With Jack Campbell in net. With Jack Campbell in net.
I don't care who's in net. Just
it's funny you say that, Neil. It's funny you say that, Garrity, because I was thinking the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Holland sign, get signed for another 1 or 2 years after this. Yet, depending on how this year goes.
Yeah, like I think if they win, Holland's done.
They'll retire champion.
I think he feels like he's got some unfinished business here.
No, that sounds like an idea.
He's made our team better. Like not all his stuff has been hits, but not all his stuff in Detroit were hits neither. You're gonna have hits and misses as a GM.
It's a real easy job to be like sitting on this side of it. You know, the armchair GM. Holy, it's way easier than being an actual GM.
Yeah, there's never any mistakes made by Oilers Twitter GMs.
I'm the best GM the Oilers have never had. I'll tell you that.
I've gotten some doozy.
Post my chat, Mike.
Back and
Hurry up
on Twitter, man. Like people that we gotta trade Nuge now and throw all that money at Bouchard. You know, because he's Bouchard's the cornerstone of this team. Like what? What are you talking about?
There's been a lot of voices asking for a Nuge trade actually for years. So you're gonna have that. But you know what? It's funny. So the Canadian fan bases are probably the worst for sure, but that's not just them. I remember when Tampa won back-to-back cups. I went on their fan feed there, and there was somebody seriously suggested trading Vasilevsky now while they get the highest return for him. Like what? He was the best goalie in the world at the time. You're still going to win him more cups. Like why would you do that?
So I'll admit to one stupid trade idea that I had. So I put myself out there. This was a long time
ago. Getting vulnerable.
This was back when Shea Weber was playing in Nashville. I suggested Draisaitl for Weber.
Remember the talk of remember the talk of trading Draisaitl for Oliver Ekman-Larsson?
Yeah, I didn't suggest.
And lots of like big bloggers. That's what we got to do. We got to trade Dry for OEK. Yeah, all right.
I just thought because looking back at the Pronger, what that did to the Oilers in 2006. Yeah. Would Shea Weber with McDavid there? What would that have done? Yeah. I don't know.
I'm happy that never transpired.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm happy you have no pull in the Oilers community, Neil.
I started off saying,
we are blessed to in our lifetimes have witnessed, Wayne and Yari and Mark and all that gang, and now, I mean, you can keep going with that list for the rest of the night, but and now the McDavid and Draisaitl and all these guys, this era again, it's time we win a cup, and I'll let you guys have kind of your own last word, and then I'll shut us down and get us out of here, and we'll carry on with life.
Hey, my guy, put my damn post up before these guys get crazy.
Oh, you
didn't say enough.
Yeah, no, he did.
I never say enough, Neil. That's my job on this podcast.
Yeah.
And he always says things so delicately, you know.
No,
He's
I don't.
such a gentle soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Have you guys watched all the Luke Gazdick?
a little bit.
Uh,
A little bit. I haven't watched them all, but I like it. I like his format. I like what
Really
he
good.
does. Who was the? Oh man, when he had Connor Brown on, and I liked the nurse interview. That was good.
Really good.
Anything you guys want to touch on, or you?
How about this? If the Oilers ever put up a Ring of Honor, does MacT go on there?
Oh, he absolutely should. I mean, he's devoted most of his adult life to being an Oiler.
We've started that right with Fogelin and
Deep
Smitty.
Hogan.
Yeah.
So 700 games, like 330 points. That's not a bad career to have. No other 9 seasons.
All the coaching, the GM, he's still there. Like
his dedication to the team, I don't think can be questioned. He's
like a lifetime Oiler.
He had 4 20-goal seasons as an Oiler, so the guy could score, not just kill penalties. So he was in the Selkie conversation every time.
Yeah. Hey, I was gonna ask, if Connor McDavid put his mind to it, do you think he could win the Selkie?
I think he could do anything. He could probably win the Vezina.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put some pads on that boy. Put some pads on that boy.
Norris Trophy.
Look how Campbell Connor's wearing pads.
Norris Trophy winning.
I will predict this, though. I will predict a downtick in McDavid's offensive game this season. Although, having said that, he'll still hover around 50 goals and 140 points or something like that. It's not going to be a severe downtick. But I do think you'll see an even stronger defensive McDavid than we've seen so far in his career.
His plus-minus is definitely going to be better. I 100% agree with you.
I think he proved what he could do. He scored his 60 goals. He scored his 150 points, sort of things. And now he's gonna complete his game. Like, we're about to see an absolute animal of a hockey player. Like he isn't one already. He's gonna turn into a monster.
I think there's 160 points coming out of him.
Yeah, well, maybe. I'm excited for every single game I turn on because I think Connor McDavid is going to be a plus-minus freak. He's going to have millions of fucking points, and he's going to show the world what a hockey player that is elite, the best player that ever put on skates actually is. I'm excited. And they better play Jack Campbell because we need a cup.
With the power play actually improving after trading Barry, I think his numbers are going to go up.
Who cares? They went from first to firster.
it plays a factor. It's a factor.
Like, man.
I'm gonna, I'll mail you that I hate Bouchard shirt, but
I don't hate him. I want him to be better. I want him to be.
In what
better.
aspect?
That's what I want.
What aspect do you want Bouch to be better at?
Defensive aspect. Yeah. Like,
so he just wanted
in his own zone.
Yeah. No, I don't.
There are so many times where he's doing.
So
there's so many times where he's doing pirouettes in front of his own net.
Yeah, and this is where Woodcroft. This is where Woodcroft was a genius by having him play with Ekholm. I was like, fuck yeah, what a smart move. Because the guy's a monster on the power play, but Ekholm's going to teach him a thing or two about how the fuck you deal with your own end.
I just hope he learns it.
I do too. I agree. I'm with you 100% there.
So,
is anybody else scared that there's a pairing shift that's going to happen because they're going to try to get Broberg more into the game a little bit?
Nope.
So
well, they might put him with Nurse, right? They might put Bouchard with Nurse.
So
I agree with that, but I don't think Bouchard.
But then Nurse has to change his game.
And I don't think Bouchard.
Well, Nurse's game got better after Ekholm got picked up. Because he felt he knew he no longer had to shoulder the whole responsibility. You didn't see him take as many chances anymore.
Nurse's game was getting better before Ekholm got there.
Who's
after the All-Star break, he was already getting better. He was looking really good in the new year. Ekholm helped for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But he was already getting better.
I would say this though.
Jay, he is a genius coach all around, but he fucking sucks with goaltending choices. Just gonna throw it out there.
So, like, for the record, Bouchard doesn't even have 200 NHL games yet, like regular season games. So there's a bit of a learning curve, and now he has a chance this year to really step it up.
Yeah.
And Jay, I also blame that on fucking Dustin Schwartz. Dustin Schwartz, you need to get fired. Bye, bud.
Yeah, well, we are midway through August. It hasn't happened yet, so I think you're going to have to eat that for another year.
I'm pretty
Garrity,
sure
do you
he's
live in
not
Edmonton
wrong.
here?
No, I'm in Calgary.
Next
Yeah.
time you're in the area, we should exchange numbers. We should have a beer sometime, man.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
hells yeah! You're in Calgary. Oh,
Yep.
fucking! I love you. I don't
It's not
know.
easy sometimes.
I don't know, Jay. I don't know about that, buddy. I think he
I
ran
was
with the
pumped that
guys.
you were on the
he
show
knew.
today, Neil. I know we chatted about sometime about getting on here once, so I'm glad you're on here. I'm sorry I missed
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
sorry I missed the first half. Like shit, I gotta get on there for Garrity. So awesome. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great.
Lots of content getting pumped out on the heavyhockey.com. Lots of articles. I'm going to
Angel.
write one. I'm going to write one on Robbie Schremp and some of the things that he has said, not really on our podcast, but I'll tie it into when we had him on. It was great to have Rob on. And
Hashtag at the end of this bullshit, I want a fucking octagon cage with Angel.
no, you don't. You.
Dude, he's been in jail.
That's
I don't care.
That was just to get his cousin out. He told me.
Fucking Schwartz, you get a raise. That's it. I'm out of here. Fucking close this shit down here.
Attaboy, Angel.
Yeah, fire up, Chad. Get him out of here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll show the picture of the bucket list wonder, and then we'll get on out. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars. Go Oilers, go! And the LA Kings are going to eat our ass again this season.
Oh, I love that picture.
With the Kings in the background.
Rudy's in there too.
There we go. All right. Good night, everybody.
Awesome.